Today, we're going to talk about microinverters, okay? These are essentially the brain. They are what turns the DC energy that your solar array produces, each individual panel, into AC energy, which is the usable energy that your house is used to using, your business is used to using. It's what we use on a day-to-day basis. Sure, you charge your phone with DC energy, but it's by taking it from AC and converting it to DC. Okay, so these all have very similar functions, right? They turn it from DC to AC. They monitor how much energy is coming in and out. They monitor for errors, anything that might be a safety concern, that they can turn off the device to prevent any potential hazards. They all have different software. They all have little antennas of some sort that link via different mechanisms to a data manager that's in your home or your electrical room if it's a business, whatever it may be. This allows you to remotely monitor everything that's going on, see live data, all that sort of stuff. You're going to see a variety in ability on these monitoring apps. Some of them are slightly more appetizing looking. Some of them are not. But they all basically give you the same data. There's not a great deal of variance between that. I would not get sold on a microinverter based off of its online platform. There's a lot more to think about, okay? So first we're gonna start with AP Systems. This is one that's very well known in the Canadian market. It's been around for a lot of years. A lot of people in Canada seem to be under the impression that this is one of the biggest manufacturers in the world because it's been on the market for a long time here. It really isn't. Canada is a much smaller market than the US, where there's a lot more options for solar components. It's a good product, not what I would say a great product. The problem with it is as you can see, it's got an NFG on this one. This is one that was removed by one of our installers. They have a high failure rate. And most of the companies that realize they have a high failure rate that still install them, it's because they're very much assuming that all the other ones have a high failure rate. And that's just not true. This has a 12-year warranty. You can pay extra to get a 25-year warranty. But again, a high failure rate. Installers hate high failure rates. Homeowners hate high failure rates because your system goes down. This one will connect to two panels at once. It's what we would call a duo. So this thing goes down, it fails. Those two panels are not operating until your installer can get out there to repair it. Your installer hates it. He has to peel back his rodent guard, peel back the panels, identify the problem. It's really a hassle that's not ideal, right? Okay, so next we have the big boy. We have this Hoymiles 1600. So this is a quad. This connects to 4 panels. It's got some extra features in that it's got these, instead of just having connectors on the side, they actually go sideways. It makes it a lot easier for installers to not overstress the cables. They shouldn't be doing it regardless, there's no doubt about it, but it's just a little easier for them. Has the antenna like you would expect. This one's a little better signal. We've gotten a lot better distances out of the Hoymiles products compared to the AP Systems. Failure rates on these are virtually non-existent. We are many hundreds in, have yet to see a failure. Any issues we've ever had was just a requirement on a firmware upgrade, which an installer was able to do from the street on their phone, right? Very simple, very clean, 25-year warranty, which is important. You build a solar array with the intention of it being there for 25 to 30 years. Why not go with 25-year warranty? And what you're probably going to find, as I find, these are basically the same price as the duos, the AP Systems ones. You factor 2 of those for one of these, basically the same. And against some of the misleading comments that are made on social media about a quad or a duo, they don't produce less energy. It's basically, consider this 4 individual microinverters. They don't share. This is 1600, so it'd be 400, 400, 400, 400. Actual is 1440, so you can do the division there. From there, 720, 360 per. Right now, 360 is a pretty good number for wattage, for peak and all that. Continuous is what I should say. Then we get into the end phase. I'm going to say something unpopular to some of my American friends. This is the Louis Vuitton of microinverters. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean, it's expensive. And it's pretty. It's got really nice software. It's got a 25-year warranty. Like the Hoymiles, it peaks lower, much less continuous current, or wattage is what I should say, but it's really expensive. They tout their failure rates to justify the cost, which is literally by the time there's one of these for every single panel that cost more than your panel, significantly more. To justify this cost, you would have to have failure rates of all of the other products on every system. Like, it just doesn't make anywhere near financial sense. What it does have, what is nice about an Enphase, is it gives you the functionality to create your own grid. Okay, now it's sold that way, but a lot of installers aren't mentioning, especially when they're installing, that you actually require this controller box between, which works like an ATS. So the long story short is your power goes down. If you have that controller box and you've paid a few more $1,000s on top of that, then this system can run all day long without a grid, where solar, unfortunately, without some sort of battery integration, does not run without the grid. So that's its only function. And I'm not saying that isn't important, but I would suggest going with some battery integration that actually gives you a lot more functionality. This one, despite its big warranty, you can see here, it broke in the shop very easily, this end. They do also come with add-ons you can pop on top to have that cord flexibility like we talked about that installers like. But I'm not saying it's not a good product, but people pay a lot for, let's say, fashion or fancy electronics, but they show them off, fancy cars. You're putting this underneath your solar panels. No one's ever going to see it. So unless you're going to take pictures and show it to your friends and you just want people to know, maybe you want to show them your Enphase software, I wouldn't recommend it. Even the data manager is designed like with no intuition. It makes no sense. It's a box that requires another junction box in your house and a hard line of power, where other systems just use a data manager that just looks like a simple switch, like a router you would put in your house. It's very, it's not in the way. It's very simple. It plugs in. If it ever needed to be reset, it's very simple to do. Enphase, I'm sorry, it's really fancy. A lot of my friends that I know are really big on Enphase in the US haven't tried some of these other products. It's just that their customers call and say, hey, I want Enphase, because Enphase has a name. They have that brand. I had an Enphase rep reach out to me after I talked about how I didn't like it on LinkedIn, who was very upset with me, thought the nerve for me to bash their product, but I'm sorry, it's not worth the money. And at the end of the day, you're buying solar, I hope, to save yourself money. It's great if you care about the environment. I do as well, but I don't sell based off of that. I want to save my customers money. So avoid the Enphase if you can. If you really want it, happy to provide it, but if you can, avoid the Enphase. All right, maybe next time we'll talk about string inverters.